I need to tell you something, something I've been thinking about for a long time, something that scares me more than anything I've ever done. I'm going to space, not on someone else's rocket, on mine, on a rocket my team built, and there's a real chance I don't come back. If you understand why I have to do this, even though it terrifies me, drop a comment and say, same. Let me be very clear about what I'm saying. I'm going to strap myself into a metal tube filled with explosive fuel, let it launch me into the vacuum of space at 25 times the speed of sound, and trust that everything works exactly as it's supposed to, and if it doesn't, if something goes wrong, there's no backup plan, there's no rescue mission, there's just the end. I have 13 children, 13 kids who need their father, who love their father, who want their father to come home every night, and I'm choosing to do something that could take me away from them forever. Do you understand how that feels? Do you understand the weight of that decision? Last night I was putting one of my younger kids to bed, and he looked up at me with those big eyes and said, "Daddy, are you really going to space?" And I said, "Yes." And he said, "What if something bad happens?" And I didn't know what to say because I have asked myself that same question 1,000 times. What if something bad happens? I could lie, I could tell him everything's going to be fine, that rockets are safe, that nothing will go wrong. But I don't lie to my kids. So I told him the truth. I said, there's always a risk, but some things are worth the risk. Some things matter more than being safe. And he was quiet for a minute and then he said, "Why does it matter, Daddy?" And that question, that simple question from a child, that's what I want to answer for you right now. Because if I'm going to risk my life, if I'm going to risk leaving my children without a father, there better be a damn good reason, right? Here's the reason. I'm asking people to go to Mars. I'm asking people to risk their lives to go to another planet, to leave Earth potentially forever, to build a new civilization on a hostile world. I'm asking them to trust me, to trust my rockets, to trust my vision, to bet their lives on my dream. And how can I ask them to do that if I won't do it myself? How can I stand here and say, trust this rocket with your life if I won't trust it with mine? How can I ask others to be brave if I'm not willing to be brave first? I think about the leaders throughout history who sent people into danger while they stayed safe, who made the plans but never took the risks, who asked for courage but never showed it themselves. And I think about how much I hate that, how much I've always hated that. The idea of sending someone to do something I wouldn't do myself makes me sick. If I'm going to build rockets that carry people to space, I have to be willing to be on one of those rockets. If I'm going to ask astronauts to trust their lives to my engineering, I have to trust my life to it first. That's not bravery. That's not heroism. That's just integrity. That's just being the kind of leader I want to be. But, God, it's terrifying. I'm not going to pretend it's not. I am not going to act like I am fearless or that I do and think about all the things that could go wrong. I think about them constantly. I wake up at night thinking about them, every possible failure mode, every way it could go wrong, every nightmare scenario. I think about the Challenger explosion. I think about Columbia breaking apart on re-entry. I think about all the test rockets that have blown up on the pad or failed in flight. I think about the fact that space flight is incredibly dangerous and unforgiving and that even tiny mistakes can be catastrophic. And I think about my kids. I think about missing their birthdays, their graduations, their weddings. I think about all the moments I won't be there for if something goes wrong. I think about them growing up without me, and it breaks my heart. So why am I doing this? Why would I risk everything? Why would I potentially leave my children fatherless for this? Because some things are bigger than me, some things are bigger than my fear, some things are bigger than my life. And making humanity a multiplanetary species is one of those things. Ensuring that consciousness doesn't end if something happens to Earth is one of those things. Giving our children and grandchildren and all future generations a chance to explore the cosmos is one of those things. And I can't ask others to sacrifice for that vision if I am not willing to sacrifice for it myself. I can't ask others to be brave if I am going to hide behind my wealth and my status and let them take all the risks while I stay safe on the ground. So I'm going, and yes, I'm terrified. Yes, I think about all the ways it could go wrong. Yes, I lie awake at night wondering if I'm making a huge mistake. Yes, I've cried thinking about my kids. Yes, I'm scared. But I'm going anyway because that's what leadership means. That's what integrity means. That's what it means to actually believe in something enough to risk everything for it. And I want to tell you something. Something I need you to hear. This isn't just about me. This isn't just about space. This is about you too, about your life. About your dreams, about the risks you're not taking because you're scared. Every single person listening to this has something they want to do but are too afraid to try. Some dream they've given up on because it seems too risky. Some change they need to make but won't because they might fail. Some truth they need to speak but don't because people might judge them. You have your own rocket to climb into, your own launch to attempt, your own space to explore, and you're letting fear stop you, just like I could let fear stop me, just like it would be so much easier and safer to stay on the ground. But what kind of life is that? A life where you never take the risks that matter? Where you never attempt the things that scare you? Where you play it safe and comfortable and never know what you are truly capable of? I'm not saying everyone should risk their life. I'm not saying you should be reckless, but I am saying this. If there's something you deeply believe in, something that matters to you, something you know you should do but are too afraid to attempt, you have to find the courage to try. Even if you fail, even if people laugh, even if it doesn't work out, you have to try. Because the alternative is spending your whole life wondering what if, wondering what could have been, wondering who you might have become if you'd just been brave enough to take the leap. I'd rather die trying to get humanity to Mars than live a safe, comfortable life where I never attempted it. I'd rather fail spectacularly going after something that matters than succeed at playing it safe. I'd rather risk everything for a vision I believe in than risk nothing and accomplish nothing that matters. And here's the thing I want you to understand. If something happens to me up there, if the rocket fails, if I don't come back, I won't regret it. I'll die knowing I tried, knowing I gave everything I had to something I believed in, knowing I led from the front, knowing I didn't ask anyone to do something I wasn't willing to do myself. Can you say the same about your life right now? If you died today, would you die knowing you tried? Knowing you went after what mattered to you? Knowing you didn't let fear win? Or would you die with regrets? With a list of things you wish you'd done? With dreams you never pursued? With risks you never took? With words you never said? I'm recording this partly as a message to my kids in case I don't come back, and what I want them to know is this. Your father wasn't fearless. Your father was scared. But your father believed that some things are worth being scared for. Some things are worth risking everything for, and he didn't want to live a life where fear made his decisions. I want them to know that I love them more than anything, that leaving them was the hardest part of this decision, that every moment I'm up there I'll be thinking about them and wanting to come back to them, but that I also want them to grow up in a world where people dare to dream big, where people take risks for things that matter, where humanity doesn't just stay on one planet vulnerable to extinction, but spreads out among the stars. And I want you to know the same thing. I want you to know that whatever risk you're afraid to take, whatever dream you're afraid to pursue, whatever change you're afraid to make, it's worth it. Not because success is guaranteed, it's not, but because trying is better than not trying, because living fully is better than living safely, because becoming who you're meant to be requires doing things that scare you. You don't have to go to space, but you do have to do the thing that feels like going to space to you. The thing that terrifies you, the thing you've been putting off, the thing you think about late at night, the thing you dream about but tell yourself is impossible or too risky or not practical. What is that for you? What's your rocket? What's your launch? What's the risk you need to take but keep avoiding? I'm taking mine. I'm strapping in. I'm trusting the engineering. I'm facing the fear. I am doing the thing that terrifies me because it is aligned with what I believe matters most in this world, and I'm asking you to do the same. Not the same literal thing, your thing, the thing you know you need to do but are too scared to attempt. Because here's what I've learned. Courage isn't the absence of fear. Courage is being terrified and doing it anyway. Courage is looking at the risk and deciding some things are worth the risk. Courage is choosing to live fully rather than safely. I'm scared. I admit it. I'm scared of dying. I'm scared of leaving my kids. I'm scared of the rocket failing. I'm scared of all of it, but I'm more scared of living a life where I let fear make my decisions, where I played it safe and never attempted the things that mattered most to me. Let me tell you about the moment I made this decision. Really made it. Not just thought about it or talked about it, but actually committed to it in my heart. I was standing alone in the high bay at SpaceX looking up at the rocket, this massive, powerful machine, beautiful and terrifying at the same time. And I put my hand on it on the cold metal and I thought I am going to trust my life to this. And in that moment everything became real, all the abstract planning, all the discussions, all the technical reviews. Suddenly it wasn't theoretical anymore, it was real. I was really going to do this, and I felt this wave of fear wash over me. Pure physical fear. My heart started racing, my hands started shaking, and I thought I could walk away right now. Nobody would blame me. I could change my mind. I could stay safe. But then I thought about something else. I thought about my grandfather. He was a pilot, flew dangerous missions, took risks that most people wouldn't take, and I remember asking him once when I was young why he did it. Why he kept flying when it was so dangerous. And you know what he said? He said, because some things are worth dying for, and if you never risk dying, you never really live. I didn't understand that when I was young. I thought it sounded dramatic, unnecessary, but standing there with my hand on that rocket, I understood it completely. He was right. If you never risk anything, if you always play it safe, you're not really living. You're just existing, just going through the motions, just running out the clock, and I don't want to run out the clock. I don't want to get to the end of my life and realize I never really lived, that I had the resources, the ability, the opportunity to do something extraordinary, and I chose comfort instead. I chose safety instead. I chose fear instead. I think about the people who've died in pursuit of space exploration. The astronauts who burned up on the launch pad in Apollo 1, the crew of Challenger who died 73 seconds into flight, the Columbia crew who died on re-entry. Every one of them knew the risks. Every one of them had families who loved them. Every one of them could have chosen safer careers, but they didn't. They chose to push humanity forward. They chose to take the risk. And yes, they paid the ultimate price, but they also achieved something eternal. They're remembered. They mattered. They moved us forward. If I die trying to get to space, I'll be in good company. I'll join a long line of explorers who risked everything to push the boundaries of what is possible. And that's not a bad way to go. That's an honorable way to go. That's a way to go that means something. But I'll be honest with you, that's not what I think about most. What I think about most is my kids. I think about missing their lives. I think about them growing up without me. I think about all the moments I won't be there for. I think about my oldest son. He's interested in engineering now, following in my footsteps. And I think about not being there to guide him, to answer his questions, to share what I've learned. I think about him facing challenges without me there to help, and it kills me. I think about my daughters. I think about not walking them down the aisle someday, not meeting my grandchildren, not being there for the big moments and the small moments and all the moments in between. I think about them needing their dad and their dad being gone, and it breaks my heart. And I think about the younger ones. Some of them are so small they won't even remember me if I don't come back. They'll grow up with photos and videos and stories, but they won't remember what it felt like when I hugged them. They won't remember my voice or my laugh or the games we played, and that thought is almost unbearable. So why do it? If the cost could be so high, if the risk is so real, if I have so much to lose, why do it? Because I have to show them something more important than my presence. I have to show them courage. I have to show them integrity. I have to show them what it means to live according to your values, even when it's hard, even when it's scary, even when it costs you everything. I don't want my kids to grow up thinking success means playing it safe. I don't want them to think the goal in life is to avoid risk and stay comfortable. I don't want them to learn from me that fear should make your decisions, because if that's what they learn, they'll never become the people they're capable of becoming. They'll never attempt the things they're capable of attempting. They'll spend their lives playing small. I'd rather leave them without a father, but with an example of courage, than stay and teach them to be afraid. I'd rather die showing them what it means to live fully than live showing them what it means to hide from life. That's not an easy choice. That's not a choice I make lightly, but it's the choice I'm making. And I think about what the world will be like for them if we don't do this. If we don't become a multiplanetary species, if we stay confined to Earth, we're vulnerable. One asteroid, one supervolcano, one nuclear war, one pandemic worse than anything we've seen, and everything we've built, everything we've learned, everything we are as a species, gone, extinct forever. I can't accept that. I can't accept a future where my children and grandchildren and all future generations are vulnerable to extinction because we were too afraid to leave our planet, too comfortable, too risk-averse, too focused on the short term to think about the long term. I'm being brave, even though I'm terrified, even though every logical part of my brain is screaming at me not to do this. Even though I could lose everything, I'm being brave because the alternative is worse. The alternative is living with the knowledge that I let fear win, that I asked others to be brave while I stayed safe, that I had the chance to do something extraordinary and I chose ordinary instead. What will you choose? What will you choose right now, today, in this moment? Will you choose fear or courage? Safety or growth? Comfort or possibility? The life you have or the life you could have? I'm choosing courage. I'm choosing growth. I'm choosing possibility. I'm climbing into that rocket and I'm trusting that the engineering is sound, that the team has done their job, that everything will work as it should. And if it doesn't, if something goes wrong, if I don't come back, I'll die knowing I tried, knowing I lived according to my values, knowing I didn't let fear make my decisions. Can you say the same? Are you living according to your values? Or are you letting fear decide for you? Are you attempting the things that matter to you? Or are you playing it safe and hoping that's enough? It's not enough. Safe is never enough. Comfortable is never enough. Easy is never enough. You know that? Deep down, you know that? That's why there's something gnawing at you. Some dream you can't quite let go of. Some risk you keep thinking about. Some voice inside you that keeps saying, what if? Listen to that voice. That's not fear. That's your future self calling to you. That's the person you could become trying to get your attention. That's your potential knocking on the door, and you have to answer. You have to open that door. You have to take that risk. Not someday. Not when you're ready. Not when the conditions are perfect. Now, today, soon, while you still have time, while you still have the chance, while you still have the opportunity. Your rocket is waiting. Your launch is scheduled. Your future is calling. What are you going to do about it? Share this if it moved you. Subscribe for more truth and comment below. What's your rocket? What's the thing you're scared to do but know you need to? Let's be brave together. The launch countdown starts now.